We're going to talk about the family story now. Well known, but just to remind you, Jackson was just 6 years old when he started performing with his brothers as part of the Jackson 5. When he started singing, he was so filled with energy, I mean, he couldn't stop dancing. And so they made the little kid the front man for the band. And within 5 years, of course, he was a major, major star. And ABC's Elizabeth Vargas is here with more of the family story. Elizabeth?
Well, as you point out, Charlie, Michael went from being the Jackson 5 frontman to the king of pop, an unparalleled solo career and a singular life, all in the harsh glare of the spotlight.
So beat it, just beat it.
Long before Beat It, long before that famous moonwalk, long before he was crowned the king of pop, he was Little Michael, the seventh of 9 children born to Joe and Catherine Jackson in Gary, Indiana, a blue-collar town a stone's throw from Chicago, a seeming galaxy away from superstardom. And while it was Mother Catherine who instilled in Michael a love of God and an appreciation of country music, it was Father Joe, a steel worker who played guitar, who's credited for creating the nation's first boy band in the form of the Jackson 5, a group comprised of Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and Little Michael. By age 8, Little Michael was singing lead vocals. By 10, he was taking Motown by storm, prompting Rolling Stone magazine to call him a prodigy with overwhelming musical gifts. And by the time Michael was 11, the Jackson 5 set a chart record when its first 4 singles peaked at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100.
The Jackson 5!
So popular was the group, there was even a Jackson 5 cartoon. But behind the smiles and the awards, there was fear and loneliness. In a 1993 interview with Oprah Winfrey, Michael spoke of his lost childhood and of being abused by his father.
Did he ever beat you? Yes, he did. Yes. And that was difficult to take, getting beaten and going on stage and performing. Yes.
By 1979, with the release of Off the Wall, he began his trajectory into superstardom, and by 1984, he'd officially left his brothers behind. There were reports of rifts within the Jackson family in recent years, but when Michael's death was announced, it was big brother Jermaine who greeted reporters, tears in his eyes.
May Allah be with you, Michael, always. Love you.
To Jermaine and to legions of Jackson 5 fans, Michael will live on forever in hearts, not as the king of pop, but as an adorable baby brother, the pint-sized sensation of that iconic band of the 70s, Little Michael.
Michael Jackson was married twice. The first was a marriage of rock royalty. In 1994, the king of pop married Lisa Marie Presley, the only daughter of the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. But the marriage fell apart after 19 months. His second marriage to nurse Debbie Rowe in 1996 lasted 3 years and produced 2 children, Prince Michael Jackson and Paris Michael Catherine Jackson. Michael Jackson also had a third child, Prince Michael II, with a surrogate mother that he never met. He kept his children's faces covered in public, and Charlie, to shield them, he said, from the public eye, having grown up in the public spotlight, I think it's fair to say he felt burned by it.
All right, Elizabeth Vargas with the family story.